few days ago, Blizzard released this statement. We've recently completed a round of actions against players who were found to be cheating in World of Warcraft. Including today's actions, over the last month in the Americas, Oceania and Europe regions, we've closed or suspended over 74,000 WoW accounts. The majority of these were found to be using gameplay automation tools. So, first, I'll make this clear. I don't bot. The basic rule I have with exploitation is that I probably won't release something if I think it is going to significantly impact player experience negatively. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll know that I basically see exploitation as a way to create exciting new emerging gameplay. And mostly, I think I've been successful with that. This channel brings players back to the game. I get messages about it constantly. And sure, I'll bend or break the rules in coming up with strategies to make more gold per hour or whatever, but 99% of the time Blizzard either don't care or see it as a creative use of game mechanics. At the moment, I agree with most that the botting situation in WoW Classic is getting way out of hand. I am interested in botting from an intellectual perspective, if only because you can sometimes take good ideas that botters are using and work out a way to do it without a bot. Earlier this month, I published a completely legitimate method of mostly AFK gold grinding on my Patreon, where you only have to press a key every 5 minutes or so. It's that type of thing I'm interested in developing. That said, I do understand the anger and frustration from people who feel their game experience has been unfairly compromised by bots. I'd add that Blizzard are putting out a lot of half-truths in their statement. So I thought I'd share my experience. Some years ago I was actually banned for botting. Now some of you may be thinking, but he just said he didn't bot. And that is correct. I have never used a bot. So how did this happen? I think it's worth telling the full story. Back in April of 2017, during the Legion expansion, I was running some random battlegrounds, and I was in the mines area of Battle for Gilneas. There's a trick there where you can get into the mine itself by using an ability such as Mage Blink to get through the gated entrance. I was checking to see if you could do this with a rogue, so I was testing a range of abilities on the gate to see if I could get through while running up against it. Reading between the lines, what then must have happened was that the enemy team, seeing my character running up against the gate, suspected that I was a bot with a malfunctioning pathing algorithm, and immediately filed a report. Several minutes later, I was astonished to see a Games Master materialise for the first and only time in all my years of playing World of Warcraft. The Games Master only appeared for a few seconds before vanishing. I believe this is some kind of relic of older system architecture associated with the Games Masters. I presume the Games Master was watching me for the rest of the match whilst invisible. I attempted to communicate with the Games Master via the in-game chat, but he didn't seem very talkative. You'd think that attempt at interaction, human interaction, would indicate to Blizzard that I wasn't botting, but events proved otherwise. The battleground concluded and nothing more happened at that time. 3 weeks passed. Then I was in a different battleground, Twin Peaks. Now, if you watch my PvP videos, you'll know I spend a lot of time jumping onto various things in battlegrounds. The reason being that range classes can get a significant advantage by getting onto some piece of terrain where melee classes can't access you easily. However, a Games Master must have mistaken this behaviour for botting, because he proceeded to teleport me all around the map. I later heard from other knowledgeable sources that this is apparently an attempt to trap botters with poor pathing algorithms inside terrain. Naturally, it didn't work. I'm not a bot, but subsequently I received a ban for botting. Interestingly, the statement I received from Blizzard made it clear that there would be no appeal. The ban was for 6 months. Now, this was all kind of ridiculous in that Blizzard banned me for quite literally the one thing I hadn't already done to break their terms and conditions. I was told to fight the decision by other players familiar with this area, as I had video evidence of exactly what happened. But to be honest, it seemed like a bit of a waste of time, given that I run an exploit channel. I actually still have the footage on an old hard drive, but the computer it was attached to imploded, so I didn't use the footage for this video. If anyone actually cares, I may pay to get it repaired. The drive also has some fantastic footage of a Warlords of Draenor specific exploit where you could summon 40 robot chickens to fight for you. One of my favourite ever exploits, that. Now, this experience suggested several things about the way Blizzard operate. First, that Blizzard don't seem to train their staff properly to detect bots. Second, that almost certainly there are going to be large numbers of false positives, i.e. people who are not botting, who are going to get banned for botting. Indeed, I personally have been contacted by quite a few people who are just hardcore gold farmers. They just farm 24/7, and they do it so intensively that they're actually mistaken for bots by Blizzard's algorithm or staff. Now, detecting a bot is basically a reverse Turing test. That means you're trying to test humans to see if they exhibit robot behaviour. You are basically just asking a series of questions. Answering yes to any of them increases the probability the end user is a bot, and negatives reduce them. That's a bit of a crude simplification, as some answers impact each other in complex ways, but you get the idea. One of the cardinal features of a good reverse Turing test is one online poker rooms and casinos implemented years ago. Each human uses a mouse in a slightly different way. If you track the way any individual human moves a mouse, it will leave data points, which are very difficult to replicate with an automated system. It's effectively a signature. Consequently, just looking at mouse data should allow you to determine whether there is a human involved. Blizzard did not seem to do this for reasons unknown. Note that in the case of my ban, it would have been immediately obvious looking at my mouse usage data that I wasn't botting. If you're going to use humans to validate any automated detection process, then you need people who are highly expert. People have this understandable willingness to trust important decisions to machines. We see this with things like self-driving cars. But the truth is, there are a lot of areas where machines actually outperform humans. In the case of Blizzard, if you research anonymous employee complaints about the company, you get the impression that people involved in game protection are underpaid and undermotivated. That's stupid, but they probably want to be working in different areas and are frustrated and impatient. You can tell this from the number of poorly considered, broad brush, unimaginative fixes that get thrown out whenever there's a glitch in the game somewhere. It would be better to delegate more functions to automation and have a higher quality of highly expert, well-paid individuals with a passion for the subject rather than the current system. Additionally, there's the ban wave issue, where every 6 months or so Blizzard decide to cluster bans of a large number of accounts around a specific date. Blizzard have never given a proper explanation for this, but the obvious one is the cynical one. It makes them more money. So by banning botters every so often, but allowing them to sign up new accounts, they increase their revenue. It is difficult to respect the somewhat sanctimonious tone of Blizzard, given that this is the case, yet more evidence that they value money over the player experience. Finally, there's the ultimate solution to botting: remove all the tedious, grindy and repetitive aspects from the game, so that it is difficult or impossible to bot. And in fact, no one will want to because they actually enjoy the gameplay. Sadly, this is not a solution Blizzard are currently capable of implementing. So there's the video. If you liked it, why not subscribe? And if you're really curious, then you might want to consider joining my Patreon for information that's too hot for YouTube. Thanks for watching. This has been Archvalder.
I'm out of range. It's been fun.